Right, so we're on the last stretch of James's Mk1. We now are at a stage where we are going to lay the spray sealer on the underside and the internal floors. Then we can get a top coat of stone chip on the inside. We're then going to paint and lacquer. Then it's off to the body shop to get paint because the exterior sills need some bodywork and some paint. We don't do exterior paint, we just don't have the facility to do that.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
So we do outsource for that. I think James might be sorting that himself or painting it himself, I'm not sure yet. But yeah, let me take you on the journey of getting this spray sealer shot. It's already got a base layer of primer on it, inside and out. We've also cavity primed and cavity painted throughout the chassis rails, the sills, arches, and all sorts. So yeah, let's get moving with that. I think you would have seen us finish up the sills, and obviously if you haven't already seen the chassis rails, take a look after this video at the chassis leg replacement, because we've done quite an extensive rework of the floor and the chassis rails. So yeah, let's do it. So you would have seen me just put a very light spray over every seam. I've then run my finger along the seam as well, just to push the sealer right into the lapse joints, because some of the laps on, for example, the chassis rail, you've got 3 mils step. So we just push the sealer right into the seam, so that we can ensure that the sealer is going to cap off that lap. And then once this flashes off, I basically go over and tidy all of these lines up, because it'll make it look fucking brand new. So it looks a bit rough right now, but in a minute it's going to look fucking pakaba. So I'm going to move on to this side, do the same thing. So I'm going to smooth this in now, because otherwise it's going to start to go off. So every seam then has a nice concave sealed edge, no fucking gaps. Also then this will hold the other layer of sealer a little bit nicer, as it won't fall into the hole like so. So now this is both sides has a very thin but effective bit of sealer on it. I can go upstairs now and start to do the top side sealer. Pretty much the same gig. Just go up there, put some very small thin seams on them, and then we can come back down here. Now we've laid the sealer on all of the chassis parts and the inside floors. So we've done all of those laps and joins and all sorts underneath and on the interior. Now we've done that, I just like to have a light dusting over areas that have like high traffic, either obviously feet or obviously a lot of road, abuse. So I'll go underneath now and spray some areas, and obviously on the internal floors I like dusting the front half just to protect against feet smashing against it. It gives it a bit of a backing on the paint side of things to stop any paint coming off.
Do you know what you're saying?
No. As you can see, that's the underbody primered and spray sealed. So now I'll go and dusting over most of these flat areas at the front here. That will give it a bit more protection. The final stages of James's Mk1 underbody. Obviously in the last clips you've seen us finish and coat the bottom side. I went in and painted the internal floors after the fact because just needed to get it done. So I've got to put the fuel lines on, so we'll get those on. We've got some used decent condition fuel lines for now that will replace his broken and badly made copper ones. So let's get those fitted. I'll show you what we've done paint-wise and underbody stuff, and then we've just got to refit the interior, do a couple of bits refitting, and then it's sort of out the door ready to go to paint. Right, so that's the fuel lines mounted up to the engine bay side, and they're obviously run underneath the car. We've got reusing the OEM bracket there. There's two new stainless ones on the chassis rails themselves, and the lines are run up, without making bespoke sort of new hard lines. This is probably the most economical, friendly. James obviously had to spend quite a lot of money on the restoration side of things for the underbody and the welding stuff, so these will do for now. So I've just got to connect up this side and under the engine, in the engine bay there. Once that's done, I can put some final clips on. There's some separate clips that go on this bit and the back. So I'm going to terminate and connect up the lines, and then we can move forward with getting the clips on, and then we can start getting the interior back together. So let's get on with that. We're finally at a stage where we can start putting the interior back into this car. So let's get it reassembled. got the dash in, got the carpets in, got all the steering column back in, and a few other bits like the center console. Now tomorrow we've just got to fit the seats, the remaining interior plastics, the front wings, doors and under tray parts. And then we can sort of finish up on this car and we'll get the car out the door. Right, so that's James's MX-5 extensive welding work completed. We've coated the bottom, done a cavity wax, well no, cavity paint, sorry. So we've cavity painted the entire chassis rails, the length of the sills, and all of the other cavities that we can gain access to, regardless of where we've been welding. It's just part of what we do when we do an extensive rebuild like this. So as you've seen in the last clips, or as you see clips now, the whole underfloor is done. All of the interiors back together to a point. Got to set the steering wheel up because obviously all the columns been off. A couple of the gaps need adjusting and just final little bits. Put the kick plates back on, and then a couple of the bits inside like the radio, etc. So yeah, I mean that's James's Mk1 MX-5 done for now. Yeah, get it buttoned up, get it prepped for collection. Need to give it a good decontamination on the paint that isn't going to be painted. Fab shops are just generally dirty. We do try to keep it as clean as possible, but yeah, we'd like to iron out and get all of the contamination off the car once it's completed. So if you enjoyed this series, hopefully it was informative. Yeah, so if you enjoyed it and find it informative, give us a like, follow, and definitely have a comment. Thank you very much. Bye.